Hi, James.
Hey, Sean.
Today we do boots.
Now, one day when I was out on patrol, I happened to be swarrying off, exploring different avenues, getting to know the layout of my land, which is most important. And of course, I discovered a foreign object on my land, which I'd never seen before. I found this little guy right over here in Campbell Valley Park, and I noticed there was a geocache label on it. Let's go home and find out what's on this. Now, getting the geocache home, we discovered that A, this container was really weak. So we have to clean everything up because everything was trashed when we got it in here. Everything was wet. This is the sheet that was originally printed to put in here by Pharmadude. And well done, you know, because you're supposed to put these geocache sheets in when you do your geocaching, and he printed this one out and put it in here. But unfortunately, you know, Pharmadude, he did a good job, but he's still kind of sane, so he didn't really, you know, get it really properly done. But as WOGs, we have a duty to try to improve the world that we're in, so I figured that we can do a slightly better job than that. He put in this little notebook here, and this is super cool, because you can go through this and you can see everything what people said here. Let's see, nice to find, flutter by, not track, did not know it existed, took magnetic key holder, left flipper on keychain. What else we got here? We got some good ones in here. My favorite one's near the back. Come to our favorite spot to taste the sweet nectar of Mary J. Found this box and thought I would record our find. This is very special park. Enjoy. A bunch of stoners. December 19th, 2003. Lost. A lot of weed because my friends are stoners. I didn't take anything but left some roaches. That's the final. Oh no, that's not the final entry. October 23rd, my birthday. Wow, my first trip. My first find. I traded a small flashlight for a North American hunting medallion. I don't have a computer. It's neat. That's his tagline. I don't have a computer. That's the one you want to put on your emails from now on. I don't have a computer. So, I mean, this is really cool. And it's great because it really is a sense of community. This is controlled vandalism. This is a way for people to share ideas and concepts in the real world. I think it's fantastic. They got the little puzzle in here, and it was entertaining and stuff. What a neat idea. But when we found this, of course, this container that Pharmadude put together was a little bit weaker than what we were used to. So it looks like we should probably improve on that. The toys all fit inside of this little container which was inside. Now this is smart because as we all know, everything is based upon configuration. With the right configuration, you can do anything. I put all the cars inside of here, and that way it keeps it a little bit protected. Oh, except for this car, because this car has some McDonald's advertising on it. So my little contribution as Geocache is we're going to just sanitize this a little bit. We'll put an Adbusters big black dot on that. Make sure there's no more advertising there, because as we all know, advertising is bad. So that goes back in there. And we got a Cairo News Radio. Well, news radio's okay because they're media, right? But we got the Honda thing here. That's no good. That's got to go. So we'll black out the Honda. Now we just got Cairo News Radio 7 on a van. And oh, there's the phone numbers on the back, so they got to go. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. No more advertising. Not in the geocaches. Okay, so if you ever find anyone advertising geocaches, make sure you get rid of the advertising. You don't have to destroy anything. Just cover it up. We got the little gecko here. We're going to put that in there too because it's loose. We don't want it to get damaged. We got our sanitized race car. That goes back in there. We got a little dude here who looks kind of looks like a little effigy of Will Smith wearing a blue shirt reading the Bible, which I don't really understand, but that's okay. And then we got a ghost, a little tiger that may or may not glow in the dark, a little spongy dinosaur thing that looks like it's probably dead. If not, he's really not happy. It could be a gecko, or it could be just a really retarded smile. We're not too sure. And we've got, of course, the puzzle. Now, the puzzle, this thing was soaked when we got it, man. This thing was just absolutely trashed. So normally, of course, it's not a good idea to actually take a geocache, but this one was in such bad shape that we had to bring it back here to repair it, to make things better, because that's what wogs are all about. So we, when you're done, you assemble a puzzle when it's wet, and then you very carefully take it apart again when it's dry. This way, because the purpose of the puzzle is it's got to look good when it's all together. If you let it dry individually, it could dry wrong, and then it won't be able to be put together properly. Now, when we got this one, they had some really sad-looking Ziploc bags in there. Now, good on ya, farmer dude, for putting Ziploc bags in there. I mean, this guy, I'm in no way faulting him for this geocache, okay, because he was the guy who did it. And he was the one who did it first, and I found this. So I have no right to fault this guy just because I have a little bit of knowledge on how to improve. I mean, that's not my goal here. As far as I'm concerned, Farmer Dude is the shit because he introduced me to the world of geocaching, which is interesting. So here's my little tribute to Farmer Dude. I want to help him make sure his geocache is okay, make sure it's looking all right. So we're going to break apart this puzzle here. So now that we have the advertising Honda puzzle, which I didn't deface because it's a Honda you can't buy anymore new, so that means you have to get it recycled. So it's like an ad for recycled stuff. Why not use advertising against itself? Hang on to old ads. That way people will try to buy the cool stuff from 20 years ago. You might as well recycle that as well. Rather than put it in a weak bag, we're going to put it all in this massive Ziploc freezer bag. So I'll put that in there, keep it isolated so that if the bag does fail, if there's like several things that are moisture sensitive, you want to keep them probably in separate bags. When space is a factor, you can kind of combine a little bit. This notebook here is so small that I think I'm probably going to put this notebook back in here again. Put that in there. And oh, I didn't write anything in this notebook. And you might think, well, Sean, but you found it and you're doing all this stuff. Why aren't you going to write something in the notebook? See, I made a movie, so that's my contribution to the geocache. So we're going to put that back in there. We're going to get all the air out that we can so that it gets nice and sealed. Good jobby. Fold it over, make sure we don't damage anything. And ideally, you'd want to put an elastic band around it, but I happen to be out of elastic bands, so I haven't put that on my shopping list yet, so unfortunately. Now this poor little guy, oh, don't forget this, but this is metal and rusty. It can probably be kept separate because, well, anything you put with a rusty piece of metal will get dirty and rusty. And this guy here, I mean, it's advertising for Buick, and I can't really see myself throwing it away, so I'm not going to mess with it. I'll just put it back in there. It's not for you to judge a geocache. We're not like geocache rangers or anything. We just want to make sure that, you know, it's a cool thing to do, and we want to try to improve things as we go. This is the sheet that you print off from the geocache website, where you go there and it says, you know, I kind of figured out, please do not remove or vandalize this container. Oh, well, it was too wet. Sorry, dude. The real treasure is everyone who else who wish to go ahead and take something, please also leave something of your own for others to find. Write it in the logbook. Possible, let us know you found it. To the top here, it's really bad. Contain. For. What the heck is this thing doing? Things in it worldwide. GPS global positioning system. Geocaching. Basically involves a GPS hiding, containment, publishing, exact coordinates, treasure hunt, find it. Only rules are you must leave something in the cache, and hopefully the person that it's not easy to find by uninteresting parties. Bad spot though. Container app by accident. But we do have geocaching.com, where I was able to go and download the proper form, which is as such. Now, of course, when you print out a sheet, you want to do wog lamination. And in order to do wog lamination, you get yourself some packing tape, get it out the right size, take it, and you strap her down across it as such. You do this for the entire document. Then, after you're done, you get yourself your pair of scissors from your art supplies, because every set of art supplies has a good set of scissors. And well, if you don't, you know, well, we'll be covering that. You can either fold it over onto the back and make sure that you seal both sides, or if you're doing the whole document, you can do everything and then just take your scissors and trim along the edges and that, and then you've got this completely sealed, waterproof geocache please read site. The real failing feature on this geocache, I mean, it was well done, well thought out, well put together, a lot of fun, introductory one, a lot of things here, very, very nice, like it a lot, but the only thing that really failed here was the container. This is a Tupperware container made of plastic. Now, I'm sure for the sane, this is a very good piece of equipment, but unfortunately it doesn't really hand up to WOG standard. So we're going to replace that container with a machine gun ammo can. Simply because machine gun ammo cans lock, are airtight, watertight, and have a removable lid. So at later times, the inside of this can is completely sealed and it'll keep the device safe. Furthermore, they're great fun when you leave them in subways. So what we can do is we're going to take all the stuff, because this is all nicely categorized now. We're going to zip this back up. We're going to put this back inside the can. And we're going to take, what else we got? We got our puzzle. That goes back inside the can. And we got our little Buick thing. That's going to go back inside the can. And I'm not going to put this back in here because this one's trash. So that one stays out. But what we are going to do is we're going to put in this one folded so that when they open it up it says geocache site, not you found a bomb. Which is what people are liable to think, you know, because we're living in terror everywhere. We're all fucking afraid all the time. Oh, but I forgot to put something in there for other people. Wogs, of course, do everything better than the sane and everyone else. So what we need to do is we need to find the best thing you could put in there. And anyone could find this. You got to think about that. Anyone could come along and find this. So they could come from any walk of life. That would mean that whatever you left in there, you would want to speak to them. Say something important. And to do that, you'd need to use the universal language. And of course, what's the universal language but music? That's right. And in today's day and age where we can burn CDs for completely, you know, no cost whatsoever, let's give them a sample of some of Billy Idol's Cyberpunk. You put it all together, Cyberpunk, we put the TMC on there, we've actually printed off the label. So this is a nice little sample CD. It's quite obviously pirate. I'm not selling it. Nobody's making any money. It's great. In you go. Another thing which is always good to stash is ammunition. It's always good to have a little bit of ammo. So we have some ammo here that we're going to put inside of the geocache, which is handy. That way you're never out of ammo and you can work on your swing in a good game. Or you can make a 365-sided dice out of it, because a lot of people don't know there's actually 365 divots inside of a golf ball. That goes in there. And of course, something that would help them with secret societies is I've got a small Masonic pin from the turn of the century in the 1930s. So that's a little thing that, you know, you could put on your lapel. Might save you, might get you out of jail, you know. So we'll put that in there too, make sure she's good. And we'll seal this back up. Now, I don't know where they got the label, because it looks like it's kind of nice, but we're going to take that, seal her down, make sure she's good. Now with this label here, we're going to take this label and we're going to use gun tape and put this label on the side of the can. This one here's just got some crappy old tape on it. But when we put that there, bang, now we've got a nice geocache site label. We got our geocache, it's all back together, and this is done WOG style. We got a perfectly highly mobile unit, easily seen, will last a lifetime of other geocachers. So we're just going to improve the situation a little bit, leave no trace other than what's here, and put it back. When I found it originally, I found it on the third tree in. Document it over, right here. So let's put it, we can put it there, or we can hide it a little bit. That's kind of hidden. That'll do the trick. And that way the next people come along know that, well, some wogs were here, because they put that geocache together the right way.
Patrolling technical specifications, file 104, boots.
Sean Kennedy here, glad to see that I managed to make it through up to this point. Well done you. Now, since we've covered the basics of underwear and being able to frolic in the forest, we're going to move on and forwards with one of the most important parts of your body in an area where I don't mind saying I'm gifted. Yes, it's fact that because of my family, probably because we're Irish in descent, and we are a strong nomadic people, I have been endowed with a very... well, I've got a pretty extraordinary physical feature, which is often overlooked because it's usually covered up. That's right, we're talking about nothing else other than my feet. I have the most amazing feet on the planet. Now, the interesting thing about the human foot, this is a foot. Now, a lot of people, now this guy's got some dirty nails. Why? Because I'm a guy, and guys don't look after their feet. But you gotta keep them clean. It's a good idea to keep them, you know, your nails pretty trimmed and that. The wife's always bugging me to, you know, have my nails trimmed. Now, it should be noticed that I'm wearing slippers right now, and I'm going to jump around a little bit on you here on this. I know that we've only covered, you know, gaunch and everything, and I've got a lot of stuff laid out here. I'm going to cover all of this eventually, okay? But just keep up with me for the time being. I'm wearing slippers. These are Italian poolside slippers with a towel lining. I would recommend, it's my recommendation that you should usually go barefoot, but because I've been raised in a society where we've been taught to isolate ourselves from everything, my feet are like these tender, non-calloused thing. They're super sensitive. I mean, they're kind of pristine, really. When you look at that foot, there's not a lot of scarring there. The skin's pretty fresh. It's a nice looking foot. Not to mention, I have beautiful feet normally. In Arabia, when they torture people, what they do is they make you kneel down. They go to the backs of your feet, because when you're kneeling, your foot's flat, right? And they go to the backs of your feet and they hit the bottom of your foot with a cane. That's what they do today in Saudi Arabia when they torture people. And they do this 20 or 30 times. Now, the interesting thing about the human foot is that every nerve in the human body, all the nerves of your body, terminate in the sole of your foot. If you beat someone's foot, it feels like they're exploding again and again and again. It's just wham, wham, you know, every time it hits you. Your feet, because of all those nerves, this is actually one of the most sensitive areas of your body. It's not like getting kicked in the nuts. Your feet are extremely important. Anyone who's ever done any kind of sport or hiking will tell you, baby, if you're going to drop money on one piece of equipment, you need to drop money on how you look after your feet. And if you don't believe that, then, you know, you may as well turn this off now. We're not talking about, you know, your food, your shelter yet. You got some clothes on, you managed to get some things happening. The first thing you need to look after is your feet. You gotta take care of your feet. By God, look after your feet. This is not taught anywhere. Anyone who's ever lived will tell you that you need to look after your feet. Kids know they have to look after their feet. That's why kids always wear combat boots. They know instinctively that, yeah, I need to look after my feet. It's an instinct because this is your only contact with the world. Without your feet, you cannot move. It may seem like I'm being a little obsessive about feet here, but if you think about it, you're really not. We pay no attention to our footwear in society. Now, I just went for a walk with Sim there, and these are the shoes that he has. And I'm going to do my best to cover up logos and things like that. But these shoes here are what young people are wearing. You know, this is like a skateboarder shoe, a little bit of rubber here. That's nice. Now, this is your standard urban shoe. And this is great if you live in an urban environment, but you're totally limited to where you live. I mean, you can't go for long walks in the grass. We just came back, his foot's all soaked and there's mud all over it. It really didn't, I mean, the shoe's not going to stand up. It's not designed for it. Those shoes are great for sane people, you know, people who want to, you know, just stay in the city and go to their job and, you know, 9 to 5. You can tell a lot about a man by his footwear. I judge people by their footwear. Almost everyone judges everyone else by their footwear too. I mean, if you go into a store, even in sales stores now, they look at your footwear and they judge you as a person by what you wear on your feet. Even the rabid vegan crowd, you know, oh, you're wearing leather on your feet, blah, blah, blah. They always get up in your face about that. What you gotta do, figure out what is the best boot for me. Now, for WOGs decide everything from a piece of kit from the criteria as follows. What does it do? How well does it do it? That's it. If there's two items you wish to compare, you say, what does it do? What are its capabilities? And then after it does that, how well does it do those capabilities versus other products that do the same thing?
What does it do? How well does it do it?
That criteria can be said from every kind of raw material, fabric, tunic, jacket, boots, footwear, what have you. What does this shoe do? It looks like it covers your foot and provides some padding. That's about it. What does this shoe do? Well, this shoe here is totally waterproof. It's Gore-Tex, has ankle support, which the other shoe does not. It takes a little longer to put on and take off by the amount of lacings, but the support that here is great. It's also, I think, lighter than the other shoe or of comparable weight. For a lighter shoe, you get a far more durable shoe that is waterproof, has Gore-Tex. So it seems that combat boots are a better choice than runners for WOGs. Now in doing this, you're going to need to make sure you make the right choices for the kind of combat boot you go with, using that criteria. What does it do? How well does it do this? If you use that as your criteria for anything that you buy, you will conquer advertising. Advertising has to establish need before you buy things. If you get around that need, you need this because you need to be cool. Fuck you. I don't need to be cool. I need to cover my feet. What does it do? How well does it do this? You could say that to any salesman. You should buy my super wax. Well, if your super wax is better than any other wax for an affordable price, I'll buy it. But if not, fuck off. Welcome to the land of quality. Okay, so first layer you need to have is everything that you wear should be loose and in layers. But with socks, it's hard because you have to have some support there. What they used to do is they used to take a cotton sock, they put a cotton sock over your foot as an inner, and then they take a wool sock and put a wool sock over top as an outer. Now, I didn't want to go with a pair of socks like that because like the underwear, I just want to buy, this touches your skin, it touches the most sensitive area of your body. So you need to make sure that you have very good socks as well as shoes. And technology has gone forwards that we can do that now. We can get like high-speed gear. So I went to Mountain Equipment Co-op and I found these socks. Now, I bought these socks called Ingenious. I don't know anything about them. Found them at the store. Compared them to a bunch of other socks. I approached the sock red, said, what does this sock do? I found the sock with the most capabilities made, and how well does it do it? That did it the best way I could see how from the criteria that I preset, and I've chosen these socks. These are $15 socks, made by Ingenious Dryline Comfort. These socks won a Nobel Prize. That's pretty high fucking praise. You know, when a pair of socks wins a Nobel Prize, I think they're good socks. Ingenious is the only sock available with Dryline Comfort, blah, 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 blah. Basically, it does the same thing that the wool and the other ones do. So if you can't afford $15 socks, go buy wool socks and cotton socks. Sport socks are perfect. Okay, we'll see how well these socks perform. Oh, and you've got the nice brand there on the side of your sock, all padded. Now, the way these socks work is they've actually built an absorbent layer on the inside of the sock that is like the cool wick for the same thing that your underwear does. And then it has an insulating layer on the outside so it draws moisture away from your feet. Above everything else, keep foot powder with you in case you need it, but you must keep your feet cool and dry. I don't give a fuck who you are or where you live. If you do not keep your feet cool and dry, your feet will rot off. This is important. This is why I'm covering it first. If you forget everything else, for fuck's sakes, keep your feet cool and dry, okay? Make sure you get socks of the right size. Good quality socks actually say their size, like a shoe size, okay? So you get your socks, bang! The sock is form-fitting, sticks to your foot well. Fucking wear the sock properly, for Christ's sake. The thing's been designed by engineers and stuff to work. If you don't use the equipment properly, you're an idiot. Now, after this point for foot care, if you're in your house, you know, it's probably good to wear slippers because you got to protect your socks, and your socks are covered anyway, especially if you're sharing in a boat or what have you. I live with my wife, and people are always here, so it's not a totally private abode, okay? So it's best to have slippers so you don't damage the socks because they're $15 a piece. Now, it should also be noted that although I'm showing you one pair of these, I'm not saying you should have one pair of these. I'm saying you should have 10 pairs of these. The same with the underwear. Between 7 to 10 pairs of socks and underwear should be in your wardrobe at any moment in time. Sean, Jesus Christ, that's like 10 pairs. That's like $300 worth of underwear. Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's right. Because you wear your underwear and your socks year-round. They're right next to your genitals and where all the nerves terminate in your body. So chances are, if you're going to have good gear, you may as well keep it so that you're comfortable. Hello? Any of this making fucking sense? It's common sense. Going towards footwear, we've decided that running shoes, this shoe here is fucking pointless. I have no idea what the fuck, I guess it must be one of those cool shoes. Being as, you know, function is form, what we're going to do is we're going to move to the minimum size shoe available. Now this, for me, is not a high top shoe. This is a 3/4 cut. And the reason I went with this shoe is this is a Gore-Tex shoe. This particular one, I guess they call these a hiker shoe, like a hiking shoe is what they call it, because it has support for walking. Hiking is nothing more than walking, okay? This has some ankle support and good foot support throughout the shoe. It's Gore-Tex, it's waterproof. For these kind of boots, I will give you 3 brand names. Look at the criteria of what these 3 brand names use and then measure other brands against these 3. If these 3 begin charging too much for what they offer, then I would switch to a different brand. It's just that these particular brands have a very good standard of footwear, which I have based a lot of my knowledge from. The 3 brands are Matterhorn, Danner, High-Tech, and they make a series called Magnums. Now, High-Tech is a bit of a slave wage. I don't know if I know their stuff's made in Vietnam. I don't know how their workers work. But they do make good shoes, as opposed to the Nike crap, which I wouldn't buy anyway, and they have concentration labor camps. They do make good shoes, and unfortunately, I have to give priority to the WOGs. Okay, a lot of people go, well, Sean, you recommend you should... No, the WOGs come first. These are the people who are going to be out there on the front lines. They're going to be soldiers, so they got to be able to look after their feet. And I will give you the cheapest, best product to go with for that purpose, all right? Once you've decided that, a lot of people say, well, why don't you go with the full length, Sean? Why don't you do like the full, like the jump boot rather than the runners? Well, the problem is with the jump boot is if I could wear the jump boot all the time, I wouldn't actually wear these. These are actually kind of a dress boot. It's got some ankle support. It looks good when you're in the city. You know, you can glass shine them all up. It's a dress boot is what it is. This is, if you want to be punk and you want to still be a wog and be downtown and hardcore, you get yourself a nice pair of clean combat pants, you blouse them, you mirror shine these boots, and people look at you like you're a god because it's like, holy cow, look how shiny his boots are. They judge you by your footwear. These boots here are shit kicked, but a lot of punks like to go with that same thing because it has that very clean paramilitary look to it. I am downtown, I am here. And that's what the punk movement and the gothic movement was all about. It's about care of the feet. It's about meticulous care, although on an alternative path. These ones here, I guess they call them a 3/4 cut or whatever, or a hiking boot. I mean, you know the kind of boot I'm talking about here. You can see it. The high top version of this boot is this boot here, which is, these are the Go Devil Danners. These were designed for the Rangers in Fort Lewis. Okay, now this is all leather, Gore-Tex, waterproof right the way down. You can stand, and this is a fact, you can stand in these boots up to your ankles and be standing there for so long that ice freezes around the boot. Okay, so your boot is frozen in a puddle and your feet will still not get cold, provided you are wearing the proper kind of socks system. These boots are incredible boots. Danner charges a lot of money for them. In my opinion, between Danner and Matterhorn, they are at the top of the game for who makes the best footwear that I am personally aware of. I don't know of any European, but in North America, it is Danner and Matterhorn. And the cheaper version of those are the high-techs. I own a set of Group 4 Danners. Now, these are designed for law enforcement, things like that. The inside of the boot is pretty much maintenance-free. It's all try to keep it clean and stuff. It's hard to keep this clean. Danners ship with an insert for orthopedic support. I will say this now, I do not have enough money to go get orthopedic insoles. And Danner knows the importance of insoles so much that they include an extra support insole with their shoe. I would think it would be pretty obvious then that if you can afford to get orthopedic insoles for your feet, even if you don't have foot problems, go get them. An ounce of prevention is worth a ton of cure. So I will assume now, because again, I'm not made of money and I can only do so much. I've got a lot of high-speed gear to show you guys, but I just haven't been able to afford to go get orthopedic insoles. But imagine if you did that I had a set of orthopedic insoles here. If you're kidding up perfectly out here, okay, you want to get yourself a set of these kind of shoes with an orthopedic insole. It goes inside the shoe, and then you take your insole with you when you're boot shopping. Try it on with the insole, because buy the insole first, then the boots. I didn't know that until later, okay? I got these boots as a gift, and that's why I didn't do it. But you should get the insole first, then get the boots if you can afford it. Okay, get whatever you need right now, whatever you're wearing on your feet right now, that's fine. Get orthopedic insoles. You can wear them with your current shoes, and then when you can, as soon as you can switch over, get yourself a set of like 3/4 top hiking boots. If you don't like the Danner design, look at the capabilities, find another company that meets that same criteria for you. Okay, but I would definitely recommend that the criteria that these boots have, what they do, make sure your footwear does it. Why did I go with this over the full size? This one here is breathable. It's got fabric on the sides. This one here is leather. As you can see, the leather one wears pretty good. I mean, these boots here have been through hell. There's some wear on the insoles, stuff like that. So the boot wears pretty good. This one here, I went with purposely flat soles because it eliminates tracks when you're walking through the bush. If you have flat soles on the on your foot, it's very hard to leave more of an imprint because people can follow you, judge by your boot print where your boots were made, and chances are where you're going. People judge you by your footwear, remember that. So with a flat sole, you lose some traction. Actually, well, you lose all traction. And it's difficult because if you don't wear your boots correctly, you will lose your footing. But if you have your boots laced on properly and tightly, you can feel the earth through your boot without having the traction in there. Now, that's purely a personal standard, okay? That's not saying everyone should do that. Like my buddy here, this is your classic combat traction here, grips the sole. You've got your centerpiece here. These original combat boot designs were actually designed to tear flesh, is a rumor I've heard. From the very first combat boot treads that ever came out, they were actually designed to grab people's faces and twist them and tear them. I don't know how true that is. That's the urban legend that went in around the army circles when I was there. So those are the two schools of thought on the tread pattern. If you want to go with a tread pattern, I would recommend this tread pattern over just about anything else. This is your classic tread pattern. And it's a very solid tread pattern. You got lots of wear there. A lot of guys do fancy designs because they want to give the insole more impression of depth, when in actuality it's very, very little rubber. When you go with a solid flat, there's a lot of rubber there. You can actually get what you're paying for. Once you've made that decision, great, go out and buy the boots. Well, we're not just gonna stop there right now. After you purchase the boot, you must be able to care and maintain the boot so you're not spending $150 or $250 every year. A good set of boots can last you 5 to 10 years if you look after them. The advantage to this is if WOGs go out and do this, you will be out of the shoe game. Nike can spend as much money as they want in the advertisement because you don't need shoes anymore. You've got the best shoes. So go, you should wear different shoes. Why? Well, my shoe's better. What does it do? How well does it do that? My shoe does this. This is how well it does it. My shoe does more than your shoe, and it's perfectly the same thing. Sorry, your shoe loses. It's just that simple. If you're running, wear a running shoe. Don't know much about running shoes, don't like running. So I can't really advertise you to get a good fucking running shoe, but I do know a lot about day-to-day life and being a WOG. So that's how I have come to that decision. Yeah, you gotta bear in mind, we run into like 6 or 7 people down here, right?
Yeah.
We run into 6 and 7 people down here during the middle of the afternoon on a Sunday, when people go walking. If people don't go walking, like during the week, that place is empty. Nobody goes there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just on the weekends, people passing by.
Because people will take the long treks, and the rich people who want to go where no one else goes. But during the week, nobody comes down there, especially not at dawn. Who the hell gets up at dawn?
Nobody.
What kind of a god-awful asshole would drag himself out of bed at dawn?
Nobody.
When the sun comes up? Why the hell would you wake up when the sun comes up? No, you have to sleep so you go to work at these hours so we isolate you from nature. No. Don't get up at dawn. You've only slept for an hour. Even though when you wake up at dawn, you have more energy throughout the day. Tests have shown emphatically all over the fucking world. That's how people can survive on like 44 hours of sleep a week.
Yeah.
Which is what I survive on. People go, how do you do all this, Sean? I sleep 44 hours a week.
I heard he sleeps 1 hour a week.
No, I don't sleep 1 hour a week, but I do choose how I sleep, and I sleep 44 hours, and there's a reason for that, which I'll be teaching you how to do. And you can accomplish fucking anything. The power of will.
I certainly would like to sleep less.
Oh, 44 hours, that's all you need, but you have to... The trick to sleeping less is mastering what you do in your waking time.
Yeah.
You have a certain amount of energy. It's a total fitness solution, right? People go, be in shape, buy my product. I'm going to teach you how to be in shape without buying any product. I'm going to show you how to exercise, eat right, do everything for free. Why? Because nobody fucking knows. And I do. So, that's what we're doing. You don't like it? I'll give you your fucking money back.
So you say you gotta know why the world goes around, and you can't find the truth in the things you found, and you're scared shitless cause evil abounds. Come join us. Well, I heard you were looking for a place to fit in.